Wall Street Memes Casino,
I'm fine.
and Sportsbook.
Andrew McCart, IFL TV, out here in Saudi Arabia. Delighted to be joined by Mr. Paul Smith. Paul, Zizo has just come out the ring there. Ziyad Almaayouf, or what? I can't remember. Almaayouf, I said it right, I done it right, that's good. Came out the ring there, solid 6 round under his belt. I mean, he's got the Saudi flag around his back there. He's obviously flying that flag for Saudi boxers, man, but I mean, great performance from the kid.
Yeah, good performance. The most important thing with him is he's getting better and better every fight he has, and that's good for me as a manager, good for Buddy McCart as a trainer, as head coach. And if he's not going to learn off Buddy, he'll never learn anywhere. So he's improving every time. He's listening to Buddy, so therefore he's doing his job. He's a pleasure to manage. He's just signed a joint management thing with 258 management, obviously. So the commercial side of things, the day-to-day stuff, he's got everything at his fingertips now, and there's no reason why he can't go as far as he can physically go. And he's a dream to be around and work with. He's a good kid. He's a dead nice kid. He's only 22. I mean, I turned pro 24 years ago, and I remember being in his position, and I have that little arm around the shoulder. I always have to. He said to me that, he said on the last interview he did, I must phone Paul 85 times a day, and I speak to him a lot, but it's always just a little bit of reassurance, a little bit of guidance or something, because he's a novice in boxing, and the amateur career that a lot of these kids who are turning pro now on the shows like this, he didn't have that. He didn't have any amateur career at all. He was raised in Egypt with his parents. His mum's Egyptian, his dad's Saudi. There was no boxing set up in Egypt. There's no boxing set up in Saudi at the time, and so he's learned on the job, and he's going to be learning on the job as a pro. But the more fights we can get him like that, the more learning fights with the right type of opponents, then eventually he'll get there. It's just a shame for him, and a pleasure for him also, and a blessing for him that he's on shows of this magnitude. So it's sink or swim most of the time with him, and we have to be careful matching him because of that amateur pedigree. Get him up there, and when he's ready, then we can let him off the leash, and then hopefully we can get some big things out of him.
That's what I was going to ask. My next question was going to be the matching him, because you are matching him against these tough opponents that are giving him the rounds. They're not there to just lay over and take a seat when they take a punch. The first punch lands on their chin. They're tough. They're obviously a tough Mexican there. So you are matching them to the point where you want them to get the rounds rather than to get them knockouts, because I think as a manager and as an ex-fighter, you know how important it is to get them rounds banked before you start knocking these people out.
100%, and you know yourself with boxing, you're not going to learn nothing off many, a lot of one-round knockouts or two-round blow jobs. You're not going to really gain much apart from just maybe a little bit of false sense of security. We can't afford that with Ziyad. We need to make sure that he's learning on the job. He's got to make up for all the lost time in the amateurs that he didn't have to get an experience as a pro fighter. It's a different game anyway, but usually the top amateurs that turn pro have got that springboard to go through the game quicker because they've learned and they've been successful as amateurs. So it's going to be a long road with him, but it's a long and enjoyable road. And as I said before, how he's dealing with the pressure of being on these shows. Don't forget, he's a Saudi fighter. He's fighting in front of His Excellency Ziyad Al-Sheikh. He's fighting knowing that Mohammed bin Salman may be watching on the phone, His Royal Highness may be watching on the television, back home. Any royalty that are there watching him, all know him and all want him to fight and all want to do well. So as good as that is, and as much of a pleasure that is, it's also a lot of pressure, and he's got to perform every time he fights. So we've got to be careful. Buddy, especially as his head coach, has got to be careful that he doesn't rush out the gate too fast. He doesn't walk onto shots. He got put down in one of his fights off a South American where he just got a little bit too giddy, walked onto a big shot, and that happens. But that's another box ticked, another lesson learned. He's still got a lot of boxes to fill, and when they're full, we'll hopefully see the best out of him. But at the moment, he's doing everything that is being asked of him, and it's great to be involved.
You've got a couple more interviews to do there, but I'll keep it. The 5v5 is going to happen tonight. I know the 5v5 is going to happen tonight in terms of the weights are going to be announced. Now, if the light heavyweights are announced, you think Cam get involved in that?
Honestly, I've got no clue. I've been over here for a while now. I don't know, and I haven't spoken to him about that. But I know he'll be fighting on. And listen, if Queensberry were to mention Anthony Yard and Matchroom were interested in mentioning Callum, then I'm sure it's something that Callum would jump on. It's a fight that I'd fancy him in, but we'd have to just, we'll have to see. I don't know. I genuinely don't know.
Trying to get a wee exclusive there, Paul, but yeah, I was wondering you'll give me something juicy.
You know I'd give you it.
Definitely. Now, we're trying to get this out before the main event, Paul, so you're either going to get a thumbs up or a thumbs down on your prediction here. Now, Anthony Joshua's up against Ngannou, right? Ngannou's 20 pounds heavy. I don't know where that 20 pounds is because they're both units. Ngannou seems to be talking the talk. His legs, yeah.
Huge legs as well, and he's so, I'm telling you. So
what I was going to say is Ngannou seems to be talking the talk here. At the weigh-in yesterday, he says, listen, I can beat Tyson and Joshua if they step into my world. I have to come to their backyard, which is fighting talk, and I like it. But I said yesterday to Alistair Overeem, I think that with AJ's crisper, nice, neat shots, because timing and precision beats power and speed, right? That's what we say as boxers. I think that maybe AJ can maybe get to me later on. I don't know how you see this fight.
I've said all week and since it was made, I think, listen, as soon as the final bell went on the Fury fight, I tweeted, if I'm Eddie and I'm calling Ngannou now and I'm off and I'm making AJ Ngannou, because AJ will look great against him, in my opinion. Now listen, I don't care if I'm wrong on any prediction for the fight. I'm giving what I feel is my educated opinion on it, on how I think it should go. I'm a betting man. If boxing goes to plan, you make money and you win well on your bets. But boxing very seldomly goes to plan, does it? Sometimes it does, but not all the time. And last time especially, it didn't go to plan with Fury, and everyone looked silly. And I gave me prediction that Ngannou shouldn't lay a glove on Fury, and for me, I still stand by that he shouldn't have. I keep saying all along, he's not that good a boxer, but in the cage, he would beat Joshua, Fury, and Usyk in the one night, and that's because it's apples and oranges. I'd fancy my chances with a lot of MMA fighters in a boxing ring, and I think Rose Namajunas, this strawweight woman or whatever weight she is, would tie me in knots and absolutely batter me in a cage. That's because it's different sports. I think tonight AJ should probably stop him between 4 to 7 rounds in the middle. I think he'll set a decent pace, have Ngannou blowing. But Ngannou deserves massive respect, massive credit. He's making life-changing money tonight. He made life-changing money in his past fight, but he wasn't getting in the UFC. And he's got nothing to lose, absolutely nothing to lose. If he gets knocked out in the first round, well, that was meant to happen. If he does well and survives and gets through it all, or has a good go the way he did against Fury and tucks up and absorbs a lot, and then maybe catches him with a little couple of shots here and there, then it's a success and he's had a great night. So, again, can't get it mistaken. I'm not saying he's terrible, he's this, he's that. He's an unbelievable athlete, and he's a brilliant MMA fighter, and there's not many men in the world that would beat him in a fight in a cage or on the street. But in a boxing ring, under boxing rules, I think Anthony Joshua should stop him later.
Well, final one then. Zizo is over there, he's finishing up his interviews, like I said there. What's next for him? I mean, there is another 2 shows happening out here in Saudi Arabia. There is the Tyson Fury Usyk, then there's the 1st of June with Bivol and Bertabiev. Are we going to try and get him on one of these 2 cards?
Yeah, we definitely want him on one of them. And again, I'm not saying it's a given, I'm not saying it should be happening, but he's a Saudi fighter. And if he's a Saudi fighter and there's big time boxing in Saudi Arabia, then I feel he should be a part of that. It's obviously not up to me, it's obviously not up to him, it's up to the powers that be. And if the powers that be are watching tonight and see how much of a nice kid, a likeable kid, and now an exciting kid and a young, good prospect coming through from Saudi Arabia, representing them so well, then hopefully he'll be on one of them as well.
Paul, enjoy the rest of the show tonight, and I'll see you soon. Thank you, Paul. Thank you, mate. Thank you.
Wall Street Memes Casino
I'm fine.
and Sportsbook.